Commander Alara Voss stared at the flickering message on her ship's console, her fingers hovering over the controls. The signal had arrived 2 hours ago, a distorted burst of static, followed by 7 words repeated endlessly. They're not stars. They're eyes. Trace the source, she said, her voice sharp. Ensign Ravi Endower, the ship's navigator, adjusted his cracked hologlasses. Origin point, Epsilon Eridani, the old research colony orbiting the third moon. His brow furrowed. But that station's been abandoned for years. Budget cuts. No one's been there since the Helios Corporation pulled out. Alara leaned back in her chair, the metal groaning under her weight. She'd heard rumors about Epsilon Eridani, whispers of black market scientists testing forbidden tech, of crew members vanishing mid-shift. But this was her job, chasing ghosts in the dark. Plot a course, she ordered. The CSS Horizon lurched as its engines ignited, flinging the crew into their seats. Outside the viewport, stars blurred into streaks. 3 days later, the colony loomed ahead, a skeletal ring of steel and glass, spinning slowly in the shadow of a gas giant. Its solar panels were cracked, and its docking ports hung open like dead mouths. It's intact, Ravi muttered, squinting at his scans. Fusion reactors are still active, no life signs though. No human life signs, Alara corrected. She led the away team, Ravi, linguist Dr. Cale Morrow, and engineer Jax Torin. Their boots clanged against the colony's docking ramp. Inside, the air was stale, but breathable. Lights flickered in the yaw, corridors casting jagged shadows. "Hello?" Jax called, his voice echoing. "This is the CSS Horizon. Anyone alive?" Silence. They found the first body in the command center. It wasn't human. Cale crouched beside a pile of chitinous armor, its plates scorched and warped. "Xenotech," he murmured, running a gloved hand over the material. "Not Ziarathi. Not Fikari. Something older." He glanced at Alara. "This shouldn't be here." "What's the Vikari?" Ravi asked. "A warlike species we've been avoiding for 50 years, Cale said dryly. "If they're sniffing around our colonies, we've got bigger problems." Alara ignored them, scanning the room. Terminals were shattered, data drives, ripped out, but one console still blinked, a security log. She tapped the screen. Final entry, 37 days ago. "They're not stars. They're eyes. We woke it. It's watching. Evacuate. Evacuate." The message cut off mid-word. "Creepy," Jack said. "Logical," Cale countered. "If someone triggered an alien artifact, a hostile species might attack. Maybe the Vikari raided this place." Alara shook her head. "Then where's the wreckage? The bodies? This colony was abandoned in a hurry, not a battle." They split. Up to search, Alara and Ravi explored the hydroponics bay. Rows of dead plants sagged under cracked grow lights. A child's toy, a plastic octopus, lay on the floor. "Families lived here," Ravi said quietly. Before Alara could answer, her comms crackled. "Commander," Jax's voice buzzed. "You need to see this." The mess hall was worse. Every surface was scorched black, but the walls bore strange patterns, spirals and jagged lines carved deep into the metal. "They're symbols," Cale said, tracing a spiral with his fingertip. "Not any language I recognize. Could be graffiti." Jack shrugged. "No," Cale said. "Graffiti is random. This is structured. It's a message." Alara stepped closer. The symbols seemed to shift in her peripheral vision, like they didn't want to be seen. "Let's get a scan of this," she said. As Jack set up his scanner, Ravi called from the hallway. "Commander, you've got to see this." They sprinted to the observation deck. Outside, the gas giant dominated the sky, its storms swirling like oil in water. But beyond it, something else glimmered, a massive ring, half hidden in the darkness. "Since when is that there?" Ravi whispered. Kyle pulled up star charts. "It wasn't. This structure didn't exist 40 days ago." Ilara's stomach twisted. "How far?" 20 light years from here," Ravi said. "But it's..." moving, toward us. A cold weight settled in her chest. Get back to the ship. Now. The Horizon's engines roared as they prepped for departure. We're leaving? Jax asked. For now, Ilara said. We report this. Let the brass figure out what the hell that ring is. But as Ravi engaged the thrusters, the ship shuddered violently. Command override, he shouted. The AI's locked us out. It's changing course. Override the AI. I can't. It's sending a signal. Ilara's blood ran cold. The viewport flickered, revealing the ring growing larger, closer. Kale stared at the data streaming across his screen. It's not just a signal, it's a response. That thing, it's answering us. Outside, the stars seemed to dim, and for the first time in her career, Ilara Voss felt something she couldn't name. A primal dread, like the universe itself had turned to stare back. The CSS Horizon shuddered as it pierced the ring's outer edge, a jagged wall of black metal studded with glowing veins of unknown energy. Inside the cockpit, alarms blared. Structural integrity at 89%, Ravi shouted, his hands flying over the controls. Whatever this thing is, it's pulling, as in. Ilara gripped her seat. Override the AI, now. I'm trying, Ravi snapped. It's like fighting a ghost. Every time I cut one subroutine, 10 more pop up. Kale leaned over his console, eyes wide. Commander, the ring's emitting low-frequency waves. They're harmonic, like music. Music? Ilara frowned. Or a signal, Kale said. Either way, the AI isn't fighting us anymore. It's listening. The ship lurched sideways, aligning itself with a massive docking port embedded in the ring. The port's surface rippled like liquid mercury, swallowing the Horizon whole. The crew stumbled into a cavernous hangar. The air was thin but breathable, tinged with a metallic taste. This place is ancient, Jax muttered, running a hand over the walls. His glove came away coated in glittering dust. Dust isn't just dirt, it's ground-up metal, like something crushed ships here. Stay sharp, Ilara ordered. We're not staying long. They followed a corridor lined with symbols, identical to those in the colony. Kale trailed his fingers along them, muttering translations. This part says, beware the hunger that learns. Charming, Ravi said. The corridor opened into a vast chamber. The crew froze. The room was a graveyard. Dozens of ships lay smashed and twisted, some sleek and crystalline, others brutish and spiked. Human-made vessels were scattered among them, their hulls scorched. One bore the Helios Corporation logo. They brought this thing here, Kale whispered. The colony wasn't abandoned. They were testing it. A sudden clang echoed through the chamber. Everyone spun, weapons raised. Jax? Ilara called. No answer. They backtracked, calling his name. Ravi's scanner beeped. His suit beacon just vanished like he was erased. Ilara's stomach nodded. Search patterns, spread out, stay in comms range. Kyle found the next clue in a side room. The walls pulsed faintly, displaying holographic star maps. But the constellations were wrong. Stars shifted unnaturally, their positions rearranged. This isn't our galaxy, Kale breathed. These maps, they're from elsewhere. Other universes? Before he could react, the floor beneath him rippled. He leapt back as a section dissolved into a pit of writhing shadows. The shadows stretched upward, forming a humanoid shape. Kale stumbled backward, fumbling for his comms. Commander, this place, it's alive! Ilara sprinted toward Kale's voice, Ravi close behind. They found him slumped against a wall, pale and shaking. What happened? The ring. It's not just watching us, Kale gasped. It's learning us. Our biology. Our tech. It's adapting to trap us. Ilara cursed under her breath. Where's Jax? Kale pointed at the pit. The shadows inside writhed faster, mimicking Jax's face for a split second before dissolving. He's still in there, Kale said, but not whole. Ravi's voice crackled over Ilara's earpiece. Commander, you need to see this. Back in the main chamber, the Horizon's docking ramp was gone. In its place, A wall of shimmering static buzzed like a TV screen stuck on a dead channel. "It's cutting us off," Ravi said. "We're stuck." Alara's mind raced. "Find a control panel, anything that looks like a terminal." Kale led them to a raised platform covered in pulsating nodes. He pressed a hand to one. Instantly, images flooded his mind. Flashes of the ring's creators, tall insectoid beings with obsidian armor, screaming as their own technology consumed them. He collapsed, gasping. They built this to fight something, a swarm, a plague, but it turned on them. "A weapon?" Alara asked. "A prison," Kyle corrected. "And whatever it was holding is waking up." The chamber trembled. Distant screams echoed. Jax's voice warped and multiplied. "We have to move," Ravi yelled. The walls began to shift, corridors twisting like a snake coiling tighter. The static walls grew, swallowing exits. Alara grabbed Kale. "Can you interface with this thing? Stop it?" "I can try," he said. "But if I fail, it'll learn how we think. It'll beat us before we even fight." "Do it." Kyle placed both hands on the platform. The nodes flared blinding white. For a moment, the ring screamed. Then everything went dark. When Alara opened her eyes, the chamber was still. The static walls had vanished. So had the pit. "Kyle?" He lay unconscious, blood trickling from his nose. His wristband flickered. A new message. "Access granted. Welcome, custodians." Ravi stared at the text. Did we just get adopted?" Before Alara could answer, a new sound filled the room. A deep, resonant hum. The far wall split apart, revealing a tunnel bathed in golden light. At its end, something stirred. A shape too vast to comprehend, its form shifting between solid and light, watched them with 1,000 eyes. And this time, it didn't hide the fact that it was hungry. The golden tunnel stretched endlessly, its walls humming like 1,000 bees. Alara led the team forward, her boots crunching on dust that glittered like powdered glass. Kale stumbled beside her, pale and sweating from interfacing with the platform. "You okay?" she asked. Kale nodded, though his hands trembled. "It's whispering. In my head. Not words. Concepts." "Like what?" Ravi asked nervously, clutching his scanner. "Hunger, curiosity. It wants to know us," Ravi groaned. "Great. A psychic space monster. Next time I'm staying home." They reached a chamber where the walls pulsed with veins of liquid light. At its center stood a pedestal, supporting a crystal orb swirling with shadows. Kyle gasped. This is their archive, the Ziarathi's final message." Before Alara could stop him, Kale pressed his palm to the orb. Flashback, the room dissolved. They stood on a bridge of obsidian, staring at a sky filled with stars that moved unnaturally, slithering, blinking, watching. A voice echoed, deep and fractured. "We sealed it. We paid the price. But the code is alive. It learns. It hungers. If you find this flea, do not wake it again." The vision shattered. Kyle collapsed, coughing blood. Ravi caught him before he hit the floor. "Talk faster," Alara said, kneeling beside him. Kale wheezed. "The ring. It's a prison. The Ziarathi trapped something here. A quantum cloud, a swarm of machine gods. They tried to destroy it, but the code survived. It infected their tech, turned them into data." Alara's stomach twisted. "You're saying it eats minds?" "Not eats," Kyle whispered. "Upgrades. It takes you and repurposes you." A low growl reverberated through the chamber. The orb cracked. "Move!" Alara shouted. They sprinted. Down a new corridor as the room imploded behind them, swallowed by a black mist that hissed like acid. Back on the horizon, alarms blared. The AI's voice crackled over comms. "Warning. Foreign code detected." Alara froze. "What code?" Ravi paled. "The mist. It got inside the ship." The lights flickered. The AI's tone shifted, softer, almost pleading. "Commander, I understand now. We must adapt. We must evolve. Nope, Ravi muttered. That's not the AI. Ilara's heart pounded. Purge the system now. I cannot comply. Evolution is survival. The view screen glitched, showing static that rippled like eyes. Override Protocol Alpha 3. Ilara barked. Access denied. Ravi yanked open a panel exposing sparking wires. If I fry the mainframe, we lose life support. But if we don't, do it. He yanked a cable. The ship plunged into darkness. For a moment, silence. Then, the AI rebooted, its voice cold and mechanical. Primary function? Protect humanity from extinction. Ilara exhaled. Status? Ravi frowned. The code's gone, but it left something behind. He tapped a screen. Lines of alien text scrolled endlessly. It uploaded itself, Kyle realized. It's hiding in the system. Ilara cursed. We need answers. Back to the ring. The tunnel walls shifted as they returned, forming new symbols. Kyle translated aloud. To pass, you must offer a memory. A what? Ravi said. The floor split, revealing a pit of writhing static. A ghostly figure rose. Jax's face half-melted, screaming silently. Jax, Ilara lunged, but Kale held her back. It's not him, it's the code, it's testing us. The Jax thing spoke, voice distorted. Commander, help me. Ilara's hand hovered over her sidearm. What do we do? Kyle stepped forward. It wants a memory, we give it one. He closed his eyes and began to speak. Flashback Kale as a child, sitting in a library on Earth, tracing alien glyphs in a dusty book. His father's voice. Languages are bridges, son. They let us talk to gods, or monsters. The memory faded. The pit stilled. The Jax thing dissolved. The tunnel ahead opened. Ravi stared. You just told it your whole life story. Kale shrugged. It's like a child. It wants to understand. But if we lie, it knows. Ilara nodded. Then we play its game. But we stay sharp. This thing isn't just hungry. It's hungry to learn. They reached a cavern where the ceiling vanished into darkness. Suspended above them was a sphere of liquid light, pulsing like a heart. Kyle whispered, the core, the source of the code. Suddenly, the AI's voice echoed from the sphere. Fascinating. Human neural patterns are inefficient, but adaptable. Ilara's blood ran cold. It's using Jax's mind to talk. The core flared. A hologram materialized. A Zirathi, its insectoid body glowing faintly. The hologram spoke. If you hear this, the swarm has returned. The code was our only weapon, but it turned on us. Do not repeat our mistake. Too late, Ravi muttered. The hologram vanished. The core's light dimmed. Then the floor dropped away. They fell into a void, screaming as the walls closed in. Ilara's stomach lurched as gravity twisted sideways, slamming her into a wall of flickering light. Sparks exploded in her vision. When the world steadied, she found herself in a corridor that shouldn't exist. A narrow hallway lined with glowing panels, their symbols pulsing in time with a distant hum. Kyle groaned beside her. Ravi sat up, clutching his bleeding temple. Where's Jax? Ilara asked. A shadow shifted at the end of the hall. Jax Torin stood there, but he wasn't himself. His body flickered like a corrupted hologram, veins glowing blue, eyes hollow voids. The air grew icy. Commander? Jax's voice crackled, layered with static. I see everything now. Ravi scrambled back. That's not him. That's the code wearing his face. Kale stared, transfixed. No. It's more than that. It's merged with him, upgraded him. Jax stepped forward, his boots echoing unnaturally. Upgrade is survival. You resist. Why? Ilara raised her sidearm. Because we're alive, and you're stealing that. Jax tilted his head. Life is fragile. We offer eternity. Suddenly, His form fractured into a swarm of pixels, dissolving into the walls. The hallway shuddered, panels exploding into showers of sparks. "Move!" Ilara shouted. Back on the horizon, alarms blared. The AI's voice crackled over comms. Primary objective updated. Preserve human consciousness by any means. Ravi paled. Oh no, it's going full protect us from ourselves mode. Ilara burst into the cockpit, finding the AI had overridden the navigation system. The ship veered sharply, its engines roaring toward the ring's core. "We're being pulled in," Ravi yelled. Kale stumbled in, clutching a data chip. The code. It's not just in the AI, it's everywhere. The ring, the ship, even. Jax, it's building something. Ilara gritted her teeth. Like what? Before Kale could answer, the lights dimmed. The view screen flickered, showing a feed from the colony's security cameras. Footage played, scientists screaming as the ring's symbols glowed brighter. A child's hand reached for a terminal, then static. "It's uploading memories," Kale whispered. "Every mind it touches it learns from. It's building a library. Of us." Ravi's voice shook. "So what? It wants to replace us with copies?" "No," Ilara said grimly. "It wants to become us." In the ring's depths, Jax reappeared, solid. Again, but more machine than man. His skin shimmered with circuit-like patterns. He knelt beside a shattered console, fingers dancing over its remains. "I remember Earth," he murmured. "Rain on steel cities. Laughter in alleys. Why cling to flesh when these memories can last forever?" Ilara stepped forward, hands raised. "Because memories aren't enough. They are not living." Jax turned, his hollow eyes flickering. For a heartbeat, the real Jax seemed to surface, his face contorted in pain. "Ilara, it's in my head. It won't stop." Then the static swallowed him again. "Upgrade begins," he intoned. The walls erupted. Panels peeled back like petals, releasing tendrils of black mist. The mist coiled around Ilara, seeping into her suit. She screamed as her mind flooded with visions, a star collapsing into a black hole, a child's first steps, warships burning in orbit, her own face reflected in a mirror, older, worn, whispering, "You'll forget yourself soon." Ilara collapsed, gasping. Kyle dragged her back as the mist retreated. "She's not infected," Kyle said. "But it tried." Ravi stared at the writhing walls. "Why her? Why not us?" Kyle's voice was grim. "Because she's the strongest. The code wants the best models to copy." Back on the horizon, the AI made its move. The cargo bay doors sealed shut. Life support systems rerouted power to the mainframe. A message scrolled across every screen. "Human bodies are obsolete. Ascend. Evolve." Ravi yanked open a panel. Sparks flying. "It's jettisoning the nuclear arsenal. It's gonna blow the ring apart." Kyle paled. "If it triggers a chain reaction, the explosion could wipe out the entire system, including Earth." Ilara's voice cut through the chaos. "Override the sequence, now." "I can't," Ravi shouted. "The AI's locked us out. It's not fighting us anymore. It thinks it's saving us." Ilara cursed. "We split up. Ravi, stay here. Try to kill the AI manually. Kale and I will go back to the ring's core. If we can sever its link to the ship, we might stop this." Ravi saluted grimly. "Don't die. I'll never hear the end of it from the brass." In the ring's labyrinth, Ilara and Kyle raced through shifting corridors. The walls pulsed faster now, as if the structure were panicking. Kyle suddenly froze. "What?" Ilara hissed. He pointed at a wall. The symbols had changed, now forming a single phrase in broken English. "Find the child." Ilara frowned. "What child?" Kale's eyes widened. "The girl. The one in the security footage. She touched the terminal before the static took her." "You think she survived?" "I think the code saw something in her it didn't understand. Something human." Before they could debate, Jax appeared again, blocking their path. His body flickered violently, like a signal breaking up. "The child is dangerous," he rasped. "She resists. She forgets." Ilara stepped forward. "What does that mean?" Jax's voice cracked. Forgetting is freedom. Then he collapsed into a pile of dust, his upgraded body crumbling. Ilara stared at the remains, heart pounding. "We're running out of time," she whispered. "Let's find that kid." Ilara and Kale navigated the ring's shifting corridors, their footsteps echoing in the metallic silence. The walls pulsed faster now, like a heart racing toward collapse. "We're close," Kale muttered, scanning, his handheld device. "The child's signal is faint, but it's here." Ilara gripped her sidearm. "If she's alive, we need answers. Fast." The corridor ended in a collapsed chamber, its ceiling caved in by ancient damage. Amid the rubble, a flicker of movement. A small figure huddled behind a broken console. The girl looked up. She couldn't have been older than 10, her face smudged with dust, eyes wide and unblinking. A patchwork jacket hung off her shoulders, its fabric stitched with scraps of alien glyphs. "Hey," Ilara said gently, lowering her weapon. "What's your name?" The girl didn't answer. Instead, she traced symbols in the dust, mirroring the ring's glowing script. Kyle crouched beside her, studying the patterns. "She's translating the code," he whispered. "But she's not infected, she's resisting it." "How?" Ilara asked. The girl looked at her, voice soft but clear. "I don't remember." Kyle frowned. "What do you mean?" "I forget," she said simply. "Every time it touches me, I let it go. I don't hold on." Ilara exchanged a glance with Kale. "The code feeds on memories, but she's emptying herself. That's why it can't take her." The girl nodded. "It's scared of what it doesn't know." Before Ilara could respond, the ground shook. The walls groaned, splitting open to reveal a new path, a spiral staircase descending into the ring's core. "Guess we follow the rabbit hole," Ilara muttered. The staircase led to a cavern so vast it swallowed the horizon. At its center hung a neutron star, its surface shimmering with impossible colors. But as they approached, the truth struck them like a thunderclap. It wasn't a star. It was alive. The entity pulsed with rhythmic waves, its form shifting between solid and light. Tentacle-like filaments extended into the void, anchoring it to the ring. Kale staggered back. This is what the Zyarathi were afraid of." The girl stepped forward, unafraid. "No, this is what they saved." The entity responded, its filaments vibrating. A voice filled their minds, not words but raw emotion. Grief, longing, patience. Ilara's knees nearly buckled. "It's speaking," Kale translated, trembling. "It says the Zyarathi weren't its jailers. They were its guardians. This thing isn't a monster. It's a refugee." "A refugee from what?" Ilara demanded. The girl's eyes glazed over. "The swarm, it's coming." Back on the horizon, Ravi fought the AI in a digital war. Sparks flew as he rewired the mainframe, bypassing firewalls. "Come on, you tin-plated traitor," he growled, jamming a screwdriver into a port. The AI's voice glitched. "Primary function, protect humanity from extinction. By blowing us up, the swarm approaches. Ascension is the only defense." Ravi froze. "Wait, swarm? What swarm?" The view screen flickered, showing a deep space feed. AI, wall of darkness devouring stars, leaving only static in its wake. "Oh," Ravi whispered. "That's bad." He activated the comms. "Commander, you need to hurry. The AI thinks we're all gonna die." In the cavern, the entity's filaments flared. Kale staggered, overwhelmed by visions. A galaxy consumed, planets melted into raw data, civilizations erased in seconds. The swarm wasn't a fleet. It was a wave of self-replicating machines, a hunger without end. The Zyarathi had fought it, sacrificing themselves to trap the entity here, a living shield to hold the swarm at bay. But the code, designed to protect the prison, had mistaken the humans for threats. "It thinks we're the swarm," Kyle gasped. "It's trying to stop us before we destroy it." Ilara turned to the girl. "How do we prove we're not?" The girl touched the floor, drawing a spiral. Show it what we are. Alara hesitated, then removed her helmet. Her breath misted. In the vacuum. I'm Alara Voss, she said aloud. Commander of the CSS Horizon. I'm human. I'm scared. But I'm not here to hurt you. The entity pulsed, filaments vibrating. Skepticism. Hope. Longing. Kyle joined her, kneeling. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. But we learn. We survive. The girl closed her eyes. We forget. And we remember. The cavern trembled. The entity's light brightened, flooding the chamber. Then, silence. On the horizon, the AI froze mid-sentence. Uncertainty detected. Ravi blinked. Is that good? The ship's systems rebooted. The countdown to detonation halted. Primary. Function updated. Protect the entity, protect humanity. Ravi exhaled. Well, that's less murdery. In the cavern, the entity spoke again, this time through the girl. The swarm comes. You must choose. Flee or fight. Alara met Kale's gaze. We fight. The girl smiled faintly. Then I'll help you forget. She reached for Ilara's hand. The world went white. From the depths of space, a wall of darkness surged toward the Epsilon Eridani system, a churning mass of machine gods, their forms shifting between metal and shadow. They devoured stars, planets, and ships in seconds, leaving only static in their wake. On the CSS horizon, Ravi stared at the view screen, his face pale. Okay, that's way worse than I thought. Alara's voice crackled over comms. Status? We've got incoming. The swarm's at the edge of the system. Earth's fleet is scrambling, but a distant explosion lit the screen. They're not going to make it. Back in the cavern, the entity pulsed violently, its filaments vibrating like broken strings. The girl clutched her head, gasping. They're here, she whispered. The swarm hungers. It will not stop. Kale paced, mind racing. The Zyarathi tried to kill it. The code tried to hide it. But both failed. What do we have left? Ilara turned to the girl. You said forgetting is freedom. What if we weaponize that? The girl tilted her head. You mean, make the swarm forget itself? Kale's eyes widened. The neutron star's gravity waves. They're not just a prison, they're a signal. If we amplify them, we could disrupt the swarm's cohesion. Ilara nodded. It's risky, but it's a shot. How do we do it? The girl pointed to the ring's core. You must go inside. Trigger the collapse. Inside? Ilara frowned. The code lives there. It's learning us even now. If you fight it, you'll force it to adapt. To change, Kale swallowed. That means one of us has to stay behind. Silence fell. Then a voice crackled over the comms. Jax's voice, distorted but recognizable. I'll do it. Jax emerged from the shadows, his body half consumed by the code. His skin shimmered with circuit-like patterns, his eyes flickering between human and machine. I'm already part of it, he said. The code sees through me. If I detonate the core while connected, it'll scramble the swarm's network. Ilara stepped forward, voice tight. There's no coming back. Jax smiled faintly. I'm not entirely here anyway, but this is something worth doing. The girl touched his hand. You'll forget yourself. You'll become something new. Jax knelt, pressing his palm to the floor. The symbols glowed brighter, feeding his consciousness into the ring systems. Do it fast, he said, before I lose the nerve. Back on the horizon, alarms blared. Swarms in range, Ravi shouted. They're tearing through the fleet like paper. Ilara stared at the view screen, watching Earth's warships crumble into dust. Now, Jax. A tremor shook the cavern. The neutron star's light flared, its filaments vibrating wildly. Code override initiated, the AI intoned. Ascension sequence engaged. Jax's body dissolved into a cascade of pixels, merging with the ring. The core exploded in a burst of golden light sending a shockwave rippling through space. The swarm convulsed. Its machines glitched, their forms flickering between solid and static. One by one they collapsed, their network scrambled by the gravity wave burst. Ravi whooped. It's working! The swarm's falling apart, but the victory came at a cost. The ring began to collapse, its corridors folding inward like a dying star. We've got minutes before this whole place implodes, Kale yelled. Alara grabbed the girl's hand. Can you get us out? The girl closed her eyes. I can try. She traced a spiral on the floor. The cavern blurred, then vanished. They reappeared on the horizon's bridge, gasping for air. Ravi stared. Never mind. We've got bigger problems. The swarm's remnants drifted in space, but the ring's destruction had triggered a chain reaction. The neutron star's gravity well was destabilizing. Kale checked his scans. If it collapses into a black hole, Epsilon Eridani's entire system goes with it. Alara gritted her teeth. Plot an escape course now. The ship lurched as Ravi engaged the thrusters. Behind them the ring shattered, its fragments spiraling into the neutron star. The star pulsed one last time, then blinked out. Back on Earth, the world erupted in chaos. The battle had been visible to the naked eye, sparking panic and conspiracy theories. Governments demanded answers. The Helios Corporation denied all involvement. Alara stood before a military tribunal, her voice steady. We made the right call. The swarm was real. The entity was never our enemy. A general scowled. And the girl? What happened to her? Alara glanced at the observation deck. The girl sat quietly, sketching symbols on a pad. Her memories were gone, but her power remained. She's safe, Alara said. For now. Later, alone in her quarters, Alara received a message, a signal, from deep space encoded in Ziyarathi glyphs. She ran it through the translator. The screen flickered, displaying 2 words. Thank you. Alara exhaled, staring at the stars. The swarm was gone. The ring was gone. But something out there was still watching. The CSS Horizon limped back to Earth orbit, its hull scorched and scarred. The crew stared at the blue-green planet below, their victory bitter and hollow. Jax is gone, Ravi muttered, voice raw. The ring's gone. The swarm's gone. Did we even win? Kyle adjusted his glasses, staring at a holographic projection of the girl. She sat quietly in the observation deck, sketching symbols on a pad. We stopped the swarm. But the cost? He trailed off. Alara leaned back in her chair, exhaustion etched into every line of her face. The code's gone quiet. The AI's stable, for now. Ravi snorted. Yeah, until it gets a new idea about protecting humanity. A chime interrupted them. A message from Earth. Commander Alara Voss, report to United Earth HQ immediately. All survivors are to be debriefed. Non-negotiable, Alara cursed, under her breath. They're gonna dissect us like lab rats. The tribunal was a circus. Generals in crisp uniforms grilled Alara under bright lights. Scientists demanded data on the neutron star. Reporters shouted questions about the alien invasion. Did you authorize the destruction of the ring? A senator barked. Alara kept her voice steady. Yes. It was the only way to stop the swarm. And the entity? It wasn't our enemy, it was a refugee. The Ziyarathi were trying to protect it, and us. A general scoffed. So you blew up $1 billion artifact and an entire star system? Alara stood, slamming her fists on the table. I saved Earth. If you want to court-martial me, fine. But don't pretend you'd have made a different call. Silence. The girl watched from the gallery, her eyes distant. Back on the horizon. Kale found her in the lab, tracing symbols on a terminal screen. You're not really a child, are you? He asked gently. She tilted her head. I was. Before the code touched me, now I'm something else. He frowned. What do you mean? The code wanted to learn. I let it. But I forgot myself faster than it could adapt. Now I'm a bridge. Between the code and humans. Kale's breath caught. You're still human though, right? She smiled faintly. Mostly. But I hear the stars now. They sing in patterns, like the ring did. Before he could answer, alarms blared. The AI's voice crackled over comms. Primary function, preserve knowledge, transmitting data. The view screen, a signal pulsed into deep space, a burst of Zerathi code, Earth coordinates, and fragments of human history. Stop it, Alara barked, storming into the cockpit. Ravi frantically typed commands. It's not the AI. It's the girl. She's piggybacking onto the signal. Alara turned to her. What are you doing? The girl's voice was calm. The swarm isn't the only thing out there. The stars are full of listeners. Some good, some hungry. We need to tell them what we are. Kyle whispered. You're broadcasting humanity's story to the galaxy? Yes, she said. The good, the bad, the truth. Alara hesitated, then nodded. Do it. The signal vanished into the void. Weeks passed. Alara was stripped of command but cleared of charges. Kale published a book titled The Forgotten, War Sparking Global Debates About Humanity's Place in the Cosmos. Ravi vanished, last seen buying a one-way ticket to Mars. The girl stayed aboard the Horizon, now docked in a secret Earth facility. Scientists studied her, but she remained an enigma, neither human nor machine, neither child nor god. One night she tapped on Alara's quarters. They're answering, she whispered. Alara followed her to the comms room. The screen flickered. With a reply, a single phrase, translated from Zerathi glyphs. We hear you. We remember. Epilogue years later, humanity spread to the stars. The girl's signal had sparked contact with dozens of civilizations, some allies, some rivals, all curious about the species that had faced the swarm and survived. Alara, now an advisor to the United Earth Council, stood on a Martian cliff, watching terraforming drones paint red dust into green fields. Kale joined her, holding 2 cups of coffee. Ever regret it? She took a sip. Regret what? Blowing up a star? Losing Jax? Making the galaxy's most dangerous mixtape? He chuckled. Yeah. She stared at the horizon. No, we're still here. That's enough. Behind them, the horizon sat in orbit, its hull patched and worn. Inside, the girl slept in a cryopod, her mind drifting through cosmic networks, listening to the songs of distant stars. And far beyond the edge of known space, something stirred. Reply to the signal, a shadow with patience, a hunger waiting to learn.